You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Today, our Getting to Know the Council of Presidents series takes us to the Montana District.
Today's episode of The Coffee Hour is underwritten in part by Concordia University, Nebraska. You can learn more about Concordia University, Nebraska at cune.edu.
Joining us today, the Reverend Ryan Wendt. He serves as president of the Montana District of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and associate pastor of Christ the King Evangelical Lutheran Church in Billings, Montana. Pastor Wendt, welcome to The Coffee Hour.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's nice to be with you this morning.
We are looking forward to the conversation, learning about the Montana District and the congregation you serve as well, Christ the King, and about you, where you come from, and what you're all about. To do that, we start off with the lightning round. Are you ready, sir?
I am.
Okay. Favorite color?
Green, but
right.
I'm red-green colorblind, so
But green is your favorite color.
That is
but green is my favorite color.
Okay.
I don't know what you see for green, but green's my favorite color.
Fair enough.
I have to think about that for a long time, how that works. But we're going to move on to your favorite cuisine.
I'd say surf and turf is probably my favorite. Steak and seafood.
Oh, good stuff.
All right. Favorite book. And we can assume that you love the Bible, you love the Lutheran confessions. We'll build on that.
From there, I would have to say it's been for a long time the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings.
Those are favorites among the Council of Presidents, I must say.
Okay.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, excellent choices, though. Okay, this is a very important question. What is your favorite office supply?
Sticky notes.
Ah,
A popular one.
also a popular
Is it?
option. Yeah.
Okay.
Single
I'm glad
color.
I'm sort of normal then.
Single color or multiple color?
Generally
Green.
single color. I like the green ones.
Perfect. Excellent answer.
Favorite dessert?
If we're talking fancy, it's definitely creme brulee.
Oh.
Simple is Rocky Road ice cream.
Ooh.
Just any ice cream.
Yeah. All right. Favorite vacation destination?
Montana.
Does that count when you live there?
Life's a vacation when you live in Montana.
Apparently.
That's right.
I love it.
All right. Next question. This one is unfair, but we'll ask it anyway. Favorite hymn?
That is unfair. I mean, it almost should be favorite hymn today or this week or something. But
You can categorize
You can
it
do
that way.
that.
That's fine.
That's fine.
okay. Well, it is still tough. I'd say any by Gerhardt,
Mm.
but Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silent has been on my mind a lot lately. And At the Lamb's High Feast we sing Easter season. Could sing that every Easter Sunday here easily. But Lord, Thee I Love With All My Heart's right there too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't give you a single one for an answer.
I mean, those are all excellent replies. They all count in my book. Let's see. Favorite time of day?
Sunset.
Ooh. Okay.
So all the selections from Gerhardt in the hymnal. Got
Basically, like half
There you
the
go.
LSD, but that's okay.
it. Pastor, tell us about where you grew up.
I actually grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, just the other side of the state from you guys.
And tell us about the town where you grew up and what life was like there.
The town it's called Gladstone. It's on the north side of Kansas City. It's its own little city surrounded now by the city of Kansas City. Most of my memories there are really from the congregation I grew up in, Holy Cross Lutheran Church. And I had a school. I went to pre-K to 8th there. My mom was a teacher there. My grandpa helped build the church, founding member. My dad's a charter member of the church as well. Parents are both still there. I lived there in Kansas City until through high school, and went to Kansas City Lutheran High School as well. I kind of fled familiar things after high school for a little bit. That may come up later, but growing up was just wonderful. It wasn't small town, but we were far enough away from the big city that we didn't really have that feel. I go back home now and it's just completely surrounded and grown up. In a way that I could have never anticipated or expected then. But great place to grow up. Solid congregation, wonderful school.
Tell us about the journey that led from Kansas City through higher education and eventually to the seminary.
Well, yeah. So after high school, I kind of think I was just almost tired of the church work life with my mom and being in small Lutheran schools. I think my graduating class from high school was 24.
Ooh.
And the classes had always been fairly small. So you same people, and that wasn't bad. You got to know people well, but I really was kind of tired of, and I didn't even know what the fishbowl was at the time. It wasn't that bad. But I was kind of tired of the smallness, kind of a little tired of the church stuff too. So I ended up enrolling in an architectural program in Kansas City, but I was a commuter to the school, lived at home, worked, trying to pay for school, and was miserable. Kind of switched that to engineering and went to University of Missouri in Columbia, joined a fraternity. Again, still trying to kind of run away from things now a little further. And that, I think that would have worked pretty well. I was doing well in the engineering program, like that, like working with my hands, like math and drafting, and except I just could not find a woman that I thought I could marry, that I could bring home to mom. And number of different events, kind of long story there, but I ended up at Concordia Seward, one of the groups sponsoring the show today. So that's kind of cool. And within the first few months of being there, I played soccer and I met my future wife, and we dated for 4 years there. Followed her to India for a semester abroad, and we came back, graduated, married right after graduation, and placed at Rockford Lutheran High School in Rockford, Illinois. They had a high school on campus and a junior high. My wife, Sarah, taught as well. And it really was there. I mean, I loved reading theology. My majors at Seward were secondary ed, but theology and business, and a variety of classes therein. And once I got to the high school, I loved teaching, just absolutely loved it. But I also kind of got put in charge of our junior high chapel. The high school met in one gym, the junior high on the same campus met in the other gym. And I really enjoyed that too. I've always loved the liturgy and hymnody of the church. And the opportunity to kind of organize those chapels, bring in pastors to participate was really fun. I really enjoyed it. But there was also this nagging, first, I really probably shouldn't be doing this stuff. I'm not a pastor. But second, I love this stuff. I love the theology. I love leading the liturgy, teaching the kids about these things. And so I was thinking about the seminary an awful lot. And during my second year of teaching, one of my best friends from Seward, roommate, he was in Texas at that point, was also thinking about going to the seminary. And so we talked about it, and we ended up both applying, being accepted, and we started summer Greek together that next year. And I guess the rest is kind of history. My wife says that she knew I was going to be a pastor from very early on in our dating. And my joke is, well, I wish she'd have told me. So.
Tell us about your time at seminary and some of the highlights from seminary and formation.
Well, one story right away. We're on campus less than 2 weeks, and my friend's name is Brian. Mine's Ryan.
Oh,
So
no.
we're walking across campus together up on the kind of flat area outside of the chapel. And here comes Dr. Fikencher walking across campus. He's kind of an imposing figure, and he's still a ways away, and he yells, "Hi, Ryan. Hi, Brian." And we're just like, okay, we know who you are, but how in the world do you know who we are? Are we in that much trouble already? Because as a teacher, you'd get to know the troublemakers first, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We didn't even have him in class. And, he explained to us that the faculty meets regularly, and they pick a couple of the men that are coming in and talk about them and get to know them and pray for them. And I mean, it just made a huge impression right away. And that occurred the rest of the time at seminary too. But so the friends that you meet, the ice cream social before Greek is an important time. And they encourage you to look for other men that you can join a study group with. And so Brian and I, and then 6 other men kind of hooked up at this ice cream social and agreed to be a study group. And one of them was almost old enough to be my dad at the time. There was one younger than me, quite a bit younger, a little younger, maybe I should say. And our families, these 8 families, we still get together. Every third summer we get together and we have our Greek study group reunion. Lifelong friends, men I love and respect, faithful pastors. I can ask them anything. I can talk to them about anything. And they're the kind of friends that'll tell you if they think you're doing something stupid and help you backtrack from what you're doing that's stupid. So, I mean, the lifelong friends you make at the seminary, that is very high on the list. But then learning from the best Lutheran professors, teachers in the world, how do you categorize that? I mean, this is awesome. And then those men pray for you. You get to know their families. They even invite you into their homes. You kind of become part of their family. And then they're concerned about you and what you're doing after the fact and check in on you. And you see them again at symposias. And so, of course, the good theology, the profs, the friends, the preparation for being in the parish, there's just no way to replace that experience over those years.
We're talking with the Reverend Ryan Wendt, president of the Montana District of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and associate pastor at Christ the King Lutheran Church in Billings, Montana. We have more to talk about right after we take a quick break. You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Gulseth.
I'm Andy Bates.
At Concordia University, Nebraska, discover a distinctly Christian community that equips students to live by faith with courage, character, and conviction. Intentionally combining our Christian faith, Lutheran heritage, rigorous academics, and practical real-life experiences, we prepare students to fulfill a higher purpose in their vocations and life. Learn more about Concordia University, Nebraska at our website, cune.edu. That's cune.edu.
Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Gulseth.
I'm Andy Bates.
We're talking with the Reverend Ryan Wendt, president of the Montana District of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and associate pastor of Christ the King Lutheran Church in Billings, Montana. And you've explained what sounds like a really great experience at seminary. Tell us where God took you after that. What was your journey post-seminary to now being district president?
Well, since I had a teaching certificate out of Nebraska and had taught in Illinois, there was a congregation back in Nebraska that was looking for a headmaster for their school, and having a Nebraska teaching certificate made that workable for me to do. So I was placed as associate pastor and headmaster for their pre-K to 8 school at Kearney, Nebraska, at Zion Lutheran in Kearney. Wonderful few years there serving them. Our first child that we have been able to raise, that the Lord has given us to raise, was born there in Kearney. But not long into being there, just at 2 years, a congregation where I had vicared out in Montana, here in Billings, the very congregation I'm still serving, was vacant, and they were calling, and my name was added to that list. And it, without being pietistic about this or anything, it just was the right time and the right fit. And the need that they had was something I believed that I could help with. So as much as I love teaching, I really hadn't gone to the seminary to kind of again be a teacher. I had gone to the seminary to be a pastor. And so I took that call when it came, and I've been in Montana since, just over 20 years now. And it was a small congregation here, had to do some side jobs and things initially to kind of survive. They had been through some turmoil, and the Lord has just blessed this congregation immensely in these years, and long-term pastorates are always generally a very good thing for our congregations. We built a new building just 4 years ago. Montana District offices moved into the space with us when we built that building. and just a strong congregation, kind of slow growth, converts, adult converts and baptisms. Congregation loves to sing. They make a strong confession in their life and death. We added a cemetery when we built our new building, and they believe this confession that we're in, and it's serious to them. And they put their money where their mouth is in supporting their pastor now. And we have a new senior pastor, and I stepped back to the associate role. We have a vicar this year. They put their money where their mouth is in supporting district and the congregations in the district, the synod, our seminaries, and the vicarage program too. So I don't know, the Lord's just been great all the way through this. There are hard days the budget just doesn't work on paper. He keeps providing. He keeps sending more people to hear his word.
Tell us about what you love about being district president. What do you get to do on a regular basis as district president?
Well, I'm still learning that, honestly. I haven't been a DP very long. So some of the stuff is, of course, office work and administrative things and organizing and keeping track of electoral circuits versus visitation circuits and updating the roster moves and helping congregation get call lists to call pastors and those things. What do I enjoy the most? It's exciting helping a congregation seek to call their next pastor. It's a challenge out here in Montana. There's no question about that, but it's exciting to see their joy. We work really hard to have ordained men in the pulpit in each congregation each week. It isn't possible in every location, a lot of distances to cover there, and not a lot of men to serve. Most of our retired men are still serving vacancies in that. But I love working with those congregations and the excitement they have in calling for a pastor to come and serve them. And that's what they want and need. They want to hear the word and receive the sacraments from an ordained man. So that's exciting. What else? There's some not exciting things, but I won't talk about those things.
It's reality.
Yeah,
it is the reality. One of the most joyful things I get to do, or I like doing for people, and this really began when I was a teacher, is I pray for each of our workers and their families, our office staff here too. When I was a teacher, at the end of a week, I would go and sit in that student's desk, and I had 7 periods during the day and 1 break period. And so, I almost had to have my seating charts and stuff, but I'd go and sit in each desk and I'd pray for each student that sat in that desk during that day, kind of knowing their struggles or not knowing what they were, celebrating their joys. And it just became a habit for me and helpful for me. I do this for my kids too. But then when I became a pastor, I started doing that. And we all know the joke about every LCMS person has their particular pew they sit in.
Oh, yeah.
If they don't sit in it, it kind of messes up the preacher, right? What are you doing on the wrong side of the church? But I go and sit in their pews during the week, and I'd pray for them, and then I'd send them a little note just telling them I prayed for them this week and was thinking about them. It's a little harder to do that now. They don't have a seating chart or a pew as district president. So I kind of anchor our workers on a map of Montana and just kind of consider their location in which they're serving and pray for them and their families. And I'll often still send them a note, encouragement. Of course, making visits, I get to see them and sit with them in person to do that. That is a huge joy, encouraging them to remain faithful, encouraging them in the struggles of being a pastor or a teacher, reminding them they're not alone in this, that they have support and help. That's probably my favorite thing to do as a DP. Of course, then there's the COP meetings and some of the various committees on the COP and now floor committee for convention coming up. So those things for the broader synod too. Plenty of work, most of it very, very joyful. Like I said, I'm still learning, but I enjoy some new challenges here.
Tell us about the Montana district where you get to serve. You mentioned there's a lot of distance between some of the congregations, and frankly, I really just don't know a whole lot about geography further west of Missouri. So tell us about the Montana district, some things that make it unique, and who makes it up.
So we have 68 congregations. The majority are in dual parish arrangements. We have a number of triple parish arrangements as well. Little over 11,000 baptized members, over 9,000, communicant members, a little over 9,000 communicant members. 16 preschools and 6 day schools, elementary schools. Certainly not a big district as far as the numbers go, but as far as the geography is, we're a huge district.
Yeah.
Mountains, high plains, lots of miles of roads. So probably one of the things, I guess the most unique thing from the geography of the district is just the distances. For the people with the distances, they're kind of gritty, salt of the earth, hardworking people. You have to be a little independent out here. The nearest gas station may not be just around the corner. So well prepared, but hardworking, resilient. That's consistent across the state with our members and our pastors too. The pastors of this district care about each other a great deal. And I don't know that or how that works in too many other districts, but the guys out here check in on each other. They care for each other, broader than the circuit. And it's really exciting to see. We have 2 national parks. One of them's probably mostly in Wyoming, but we still claim it. And that brings a lot of tourists, and through the summer, a lot of visitors come through. Kind of fun that way to embrace it. But overall, we have more cows in the state than people. We have huckleberries. Can't miss out on the huckleberries. And then to give you an idea of some distances, this past Sunday I was in Butte, Montana for preaching and leading a call meeting. It's about a 4-hour drive from where I'm at here in Billings, about the same as from my hometown in Kansas City over to you guys in St. Louis. But that only accounts for about a third of the distance of the east-west distances in our state. And there's also really only about 1 car for every half a mile of road. So it's not quite the bumper-to-bumper I-70 traffic that you might be used to. From Billings to Eureka, which is our farthest northwest congregation, it's over 525 miles one way. So 8.5 hours with a number of mountain passes to get to them. And then going east, we have a congregation in North Dakota that's part of the Montana district up in Williston. And from Billings to them is 316 miles, so 5 hours that direction. Another way I've told people, from the southeast corner of Montana, it's actually closer to get to the panhandle of Texas and be in Texas than it is to get to the northwest corner of our state up in Eureka. So that maybe puts it in a little perspective, but there's approximately 1 grizzly bear for every 550 people out here. Makes hiking a little more interesting. And
the slowest.
No.
Yeah. And about a tenth of a square mile for each person in the state when you cover the whole region there. So some different challenges for ministry for sure. When we're talking about a dual parish arrangement, we're not talking about 2 congregations in 2 little towns separated by 5 miles. One of our triple point parishes, 290-mile round trip between the 3 of them. So some challenges in that way for the people, some challenges for our pastors. But, it's a lot easier now than when the first Montana missionaries came from the LCMS, and they were riding horses to make these trips.
Wow. That's some serious geography.
Yeah.
That how do you
How?
Well, I have lots of questions, but we only have so much time, so I need to move on to the next question. Pastor, why are you a pastor in the LCMS today?
Simply because of our clear confession that the Word of God is the only source and norm for faith and life, and our insistence on and regular delivery of the Lord's sacraments to his people. I believe the Lutheran confession is the clearest confession of the Holy Scriptures, and it brings great comfort to troubled consciences and the forgiveness of sins, and it's filled with great joy. So that's it.
That's it. That's all I need. Yeah. We're going to circle back to a few of the lightning round questions. One of them I'm still pondering in my head how you make it work. But I'm going to ask you about your vacation destination. I suppose it's fair because you didn't grow up in Montana that it still counts.
Also, Montana's huge.
Apparently, Montana is gigantic. Yeah. So that's great too. Tell us what you love about the state, where you love to go on vacation in your own state.
Probably our favorite is actually just going camping.
Mm.
That's a little harder than it used to be because of the grizzly bears. A lot of the campgrounds we like have closed camping. They don't allow tents. You have to be in a hard-sided camper. But my family just loves to do that. My short vacations, we'll try and do one here this year, but we just make a full day of Yellowstone. We leave real early in the morning and sometimes don't get back until 3 a.m. with all the miles to cover. But last year at this time, we went and the grizzlies are all out in the park, and we saw 18 unique grizzly bears in one day, elk, black bears as well. It's just not something you can do too many places. People come from all over the world to see this, and it's right in our back door, and we just don't get there that often, unfortunately. So, but being out in nature, being in the mountains, it's just really hard to beat. I grew up Flatlander, and we made one trip when I was young out to Rapid City, the Black Hills, and thought that was fantastic. And now I kind of live in some of the same environment, and so we just enjoy being out in that. Most of our other vacations are actually to visit family when we have time off. So that's back to Missouri or Minnesota, where my wife's family's from.
You mentioned favorite time of day is sunset. What happens at sunset for you in Montana?
Well, I really like hunting, and the hour as sunset's coming up is always kind of the fun hour. Your hair stands on end, animals are moving. But I could say theologically kind of related to now rest beneath night's shadow. The day is kind of over. Mm-hmm. It's spent, as we talk about in the liturgy, we get to this picture all the time, right? It's kind of a picture of the end of your life, not just the end of the day. And then the morning's a new beginning. It's hard to not be excited about that. But yeah, sunset, for so many reasons, just my favorite time of day.
The Reverend Ryan Wendt, he serves as president of the Montana District of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and associate pastor of Christ the King Evangelical Lutheran Church in Billings, Montana. Pastor Wendt, thanks for being our guest on this special series.
Thank you very much for having me. This was fun.
You've been listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.